Let's bring in LaTosha Brown, the co-founder of the Black Voters Matter Fund, and civil rights attorney and former prosecutor David Henderson. It's great to have the both of you with us. So, LaTosha, let's talk about what's happening right now in Georgia, because as we all remember, Georgia voters posted the biggest upset in the November elections by choosing Biden over Trump and then ousting those incumbent Republican senators for those two Democrats, Ossoff and Warnock. And then the Republican-controlled legislature there responded with these sweeping voting restrictions. And now, as the AJC, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, points out, Georgia Republicans take first step to Fulton elections takeover. And Fulton County, we should tell our viewers, is one of the most reliably Democratic counties in the country. What's happening?
You know, that's exactly right. You know, what we're seeing right now, which is why there is a critical call out where we have to have federal legislation, is that in Georgia right now, it's not that it's going to happen. That law is enacted. What we are seeing is they've already started moving the Republicans to take over the election process. You know, there are members of the election boards that have been put off. What you're also seeing is you're seeing Raffensperger, the Republican Secretary of State, saying that he's calling for the election officials in many of these counties. And let's note that Fulton County not only is one of the largest counties, one of the largest in the nation, is the largest county in Georgia, and it also has a significant, sizable African-American population and Latino population. And so this is directly directed at undermining the voting rights of Black and brown voters, which is why it is imperative, as we're talking about on the eve of the signing of the Voting Rights Act, we need that kind of bold courage. There's a couple of things, I think, lessons learned. One, we need the president to put all of the full weight behind this issue. Second, we also know, that we need literally federal voting rights legislation. There should not be a recess. We're saying that why would we break when it is happening now? This is not something that can wait because it's being enacted just as we speak.
David Henderson, our reporting here at NBC is that the main voting rights legislation that Democrats are considering now is scaled back. It only focuses on ensuring access to the polls. And that was done to build consensus after Senate Republicans blocked that sweeping For the People Act earlier this year. And so the question, I think, is it worth it? If this legislation is only focused on suppression and not election subversion, when you have local lawmakers who are taking steps to potentially overturn the election results?
Well, Jeff, is it worth it? Yes. Is it enough? No, it is not enough, but it is absolutely worth it because I don't think people understand how critical of a stage we are at. What's unique here is that you would assume we would have made some progress since 1965. You would assume at the very least, maybe Voting Rights Act isn't the primary civil rights issue in 2021, and yet it is. And it's just like when you are sick and you go to the doctor and you start taking your medicine, you assume you're better, so you stop taking your medicine, and then you get sick all over again. That's what's happening right now. The reason I say it's important, even though it's not enough, is because in states like Texas, I believe in giving people hope. But hope begins with an honest assessment of where you're at. And this is like the movie Rocky 1. We are going to lose this fight in Texas. I think we're going to go down standing up, but we are going to lose this fight. What people need to know is that there's going to be a sequel. And the only way you're going to give people hope to keep moving forward right now, which has to happen to lead to positive change, is by letting them know that you're behind them and you're going to do everything you can. That's why I think this legislation is so important.
LaTosha Brown, when we talk about 56 years since LBJ signing the Voting Rights Act, we should make clear that that law was not signed in a vacuum, right? It didn't happen on its own. It was prompted by a series of civil rights movements and events. There was the murder of those voting rights activists in Mississippi. There was the attack by state troopers on those peaceful marchers in Selma, Alabama, to include the late Congressman John Lewis. Fast forward to the present, what's the strategy to raise awareness, to pressure those lawmakers to do the thing that you want them to do?
I'm so glad you raised that because I hope, I think that there is a particular kind of temperament that Black people, we have to see Black people get beat on a bridge to make voting rights be a central issue. The truth of the matter is President Biden would not be in office right now had it not been for Black voters. Let's not let's remember that early on, even in the primary, he came in fifth. It was Black voters who literally in a state, in a southern state, and South Carolina, one of those states that was covered by the pre-clearance clause, that came out and literally delivered and gave a boost in his campaign, and Black voters coming out in record numbers is what led to not only him hitting the White House, but also in Georgia for him to actually have a Senate where he can govern. And so it is actually unconscionable that at this moment that we're literally looking at this fight for voting rights, right? And we're talking about recessing, we're going to take a break when this is the most critical, fundamental issue around democracy. And it's just ironic that we would be having this discussion at this moment on this day, 56 years later. So the bottom line is we should not be at a state where we actually have to continue to see people be beat on the bridge to bring the pressure. I think that there's enough evidence, there's a preponderance of evidence that voting rights are under attack right now, that democracy is being unraveled, that there isn't a coordinated, concerted effort by the Republicans to marginalize Black and brown voters in this country, and ultimately all voters. And so we need to see the Democratic Party see that with a sense of urgency and literally move on this, and should call for there not to be a recess. Just as Leader Schumer said, we should not have a recess. We should get the work done.
LaTosha Brown and David Henderson, my thanks to the both of you for your insights this afternoon.